and welcome to episode 6 of the Dunkelgrün podcast. This is a podcast about knitting, textile crafts and fiber arts. My name is Anna and today is May 25th, 2017 and I'm coming to you from Zurich in Switzerland. In the info box below this video you will find links to the Dunkelgrün Ravelry group, to my Instagram, as well as to dunkelgrün.com, where you can find the show notes for this episode and all other episodes. Welcome everybody and thank you for tuning in today. It has been a while again, actually a month since my last episode, just because there is so much going on in my life right now. Some of you who are following me on Instagram have seen that I have been traveling quite a bit. I have been to Porto in Portugal and I have also something to show to you from there. I have been to Austria to visit my mom. And yeah, I have also had a couple of job interviews and courses and things just keeping me busy. Today I have a great program for you. Apart from an update on my knitting projects and a call for test knitters for a pattern, I have a giveaway winner to announce. I have a new giveaway where you can participate. There will be a review and also a little lesson about fiber chemistry for those of you who are interested. So let's get started. The first segment will be knit-alongs. There is a knit-along currently being co-hosted by myself and Celeste from the Yarn to Table podcast, and this is the Summer Garment Cal. There are a lot of people who have already participated or have shown projects. Some people have even already shown finished objects, even though we just started at the beginning of May and we are knitting garments here. But there is also still a lot of time to join and participate in this knit-along because the finishing date will be the 31st of August. So come on over, check out my Ravelry group, check out the Yarn to Table podcast Ravelry group and find all the information about the Summer Garment Cal. Let's move on to giveaway. I have announced a giveaway for the 1,000 subscribers on YouTube last month and now it's time to call a winner. The prize is this wonderful skein of yarn that I dyed myself. I'm calling it a Shibori Sunrise because it has a bit these effects of an indigo shibori tie-dye and this sunrise colored speckles. Speaking of shibori, the t-shirt that I am wearing, maybe you can see it a bit, is an indigo shibori dyed by myself. I dyed it I think 2 years ago, so it's already a little bit faded out, but I still like it a lot. The prompt of the giveaway was to post a picture of a sunrise, and there were quite a few beautiful entries in this thread on Ravelry. It was a pleasure to browse through and look at all these sunrises all over the world. It is quite fascinating to me if I imagine that every second that we are breathing, there is a sunrise happening somewhere in this planet and somebody is watching it. So this is just crazy. So the pictures were really breathtaking, and if I would have had to pick one myself, it would have been really difficult. So I used random.org to pick a number. Out of 61 entries, random.org selected number 35. And this is a post submitted by Lynn from the Two Tangled Skeins podcast. Congratulations, Lynn! Her nickname on Ravelry and also on Instagram is Tollbaby. And please, Lynn, get in touch with me and I will send the skein out to you. So for those of you who did not get lucky this time, please stick around towards the end of the episode. I will have another giveaway for you to have a chance to win. Next, I would like to announce a podcast that I have really enjoyed. It's a brand new podcast. There is only one episode out, and this is the Strawberry Patches podcast with Marina. Marina is from Russia and she lives in Istanbul. So this is a pretty amazing combination and unusual. And also she knits with a lot of Turkish yarns that are quite special. I have never seen such yarns around here, and they're very colorful, and she has a lot of expression in everything she does. And also she makes beautiful dolls that she sews by hand, I believe. So it's really worth checking her out. Go over, check out the first episode of this Strawberry Patches podcast. With this, we can already proceed to finished projects. After I have not podcasted for a full month, you would expect that I would have quite a few things to show you here, but it's not the case. No, I don't know why. In the past, I used to knit a lot faster and a lot more productive, but these days, I don't know, it's not happening. But I have a finished object for you, and it is, tada, this beautiful pair of socks. I will insert some pictures here of me wearing it, because so it is a bit easier to see after when I wear them, because the cables are blocked out. So they have this beautiful cabled calf. It is an easy cable pattern, a 2x2 cable, and then there is the heel, which is a heel flap heel with a mosaic pattern on it. And on the foot there is just stockinette stitch on the bottom of the foot, and the cable pattern continues on the top. And we have a wonderful rounded toe. Let me show you this rounded toe. Here is how the rounded toe looks like that I am doing. I really like it. Alright, so these socks I have designed more or less, or improvised, and I would like to write a pattern. And I have decided to call them Andalus socks, just because I asked my boyfriend, what would you call these socks? And this is what he said. So I think it's this mosaic pattern that looks a little bit like Andalus architecture that inspired him for this name. Anyway, I would like to release a pattern, and I would like to call for test knitters. I will have a thread on Ravelry where you can express your interest in becoming a test knitter. I don't know yet how many test knitters I will need, and I also don't know how many people will respond, so this will be decided on the go. Also, the pattern is not yet ready, so that might take another week or two until I can send it out. And also, there will not be a ton of pressure to finish it. If you're feeling, I would like to test knit, but I'm not sure if I can make a deadline, I will put a loose deadline, or yeah. So feel free to come over to the Ravelry group and let's have some fun with these socks. This is already it with finished objects, and next I will show you what is on my needles. So let's move on to knitting in progress. My first project that I'm going to show you is in this Tom's shoe bag. Da 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 da! This is my summer garment cal / the Great Unravel. So for all the details on how I obtained this yarn, you should check out the episode 5 of my podcast, because there I showed you in detail how I dyed this sweater and unraveled the sweater to obtain this yarn. Can you see the gradient? It is very subtle yet, because yeah, it's a slow gradient from green to gray. Here is the yarn. This is what I have left of the first skein. You cannot see much here. This is the second ball, where you can see that it transitions from this light green all the way to gray. This is going to be a summer top, knitted from the bottom up, and I have cast on generously a lot of stitches to get a lot of positive ease down there at my hip, because I like when the top flares out a little. And then I am decreasing all the way up. Soon I think I'm already at my bust, and then I will separate the front and the back to work the front and the back. I will see yet how I will do it. I don't know yet exactly. This will be decided on the go. Alright, this was the Great Unravel / Summer Garment Cal. Oh, by the way, The Great Unravel, if you haven't heard of it, is a knit-along co-hosted by Taylor from Wool Needles Hands, by Caitlin from Wool Jewel, and by Celeste from Yarn to Table. The goal of the knit-along is to recycle some yarn from a sweater and knit something out of it. And yeah, there is still some time. I think they have prolonged the deadline. Thank you very much. This comes very handy for me because I think I would not have made it until June. So now I think there is time until July to finish that project. So if you're a fast knitter, you can still do it. My next project on the needles is a pair of socks. And it lives in this little bag. I think I never showed this one up on the podcast. This was the first project bag that I ever sewed myself. It is this cute fabric. Actually, you're gonna see this fabric again in this podcast. So inside it is this cute green polka dot fabric. Inside lives this wonderful rainbow sock that I saw this yarn just this week in the store and I just grabbed it, and yeah, now I'm just knitting a top down vanilla sock, just like this. This is the yarn. This is not how it comes. I have wound it into a cake. It comes in this big blobby balls because it is a commercial yarn that is called Fortissima Cotton Stretch by Schöller and Stahl. And this one is actually quite an interesting composition. 41% wool, 39% cotton, and 13% polyamide, which is nylon, and 7% polyester. So you can see there's quite a high cotton content in that one, almost 40%. And you would imagine that this would get hard and not stretchy like wool usually is. But if you look at the thread, maybe we can see that. It is very bouncy. It is super bouncy. And this is because it is plied in a very special way. Actually, I have here the one end that I have opened up. I am not sure if this is going to be visible here on the camera. Maybe. It is like a core spun yarn. There is a core of synthetic fiber that is very stretchy, and then the other yarn is like already two-plied. So there are two two-plied yarns that are wrapped around this core, and this generates this very bouncy yarn. It's very interesting, and I like the fabric that it makes. And yes, I am knitting with DPNs again. I don't know, I love the Magic Loop 2 at a time socks very much, but I just really love knitting with DPNs. I don't know why. It's how I saw my grandmother knitting when I was little and how my mother knitting, and somehow this is just like, I remember how you have to knit socks. I just have one little headache with DPNs, and I don't know really, especially with this yarn. You can see this ladder. Can you see this ladder that is happening? I am yanking at the beginning and at the end of every needle. I am yanking the yarn super tight, but it still keeps happening. So if you guys have any really good tips on how to avoid that, please let me know. I think usually when I knit with normal yarns, sock yarns, this does not happen so much. Maybe just a little bit if I'm not careful. But with this one, I don't know. So please let me know if you have any suggestions. Now, really quickly, I'm gonna give you an update on projects that I have shown in this podcast previously and that I have a little bit fallen out of love with. The first one is the Fall Flowers sweater by Vera Sanan. It is knit out of Malabrigo Arroyo in the Pothyon colorway, and I have not worked on it in forever. There is nothing wrong with the pattern. I like the pattern, I like the yarn, but I think it's just because it's getting warm here and summery that I don't feel the need of this sweater, and so it's sleeping. Also, the neckline, I was not so happy with this pattern. If you see, it is like a mix. It is like a mix between seed stitch and ribbing, and this is the outside that the pattern calls for, and this here is the wrong side or the inside, and I believe I would prefer to have this one on the outside. So I think I'll just rip that out and change it again, but I don't know if this is going to happen soon or we are going to see. Actually, in the past I knit big sweaters in the summer, warm sweaters, because after the summer it's autumn and you can wear them, I don't know. Other project that is sleeping my blanket. I'm not going to get it now. I have shown it in episodes 1 to 4. I have shown it every episode. And since April, since 2 months, I have not worked on it. I don't know why. I think also it's just because the weather, I don't know. We will see. In the beginning I was a bit disappointed and sad, but I have realized that I shouldn't be, because knitting is about being happy and relaxing, and so I will just let it go and come back whenever it wants. Now I like to talk about some other crafts that I have not been talking about previously in this podcast. And one is some multi-crafty project that I have been working on these past couple of weeks pretty intensely, but unfortunately I cannot show it to you. On the upcoming weekend there will be the wedding of a very good friend of mine, and I have been making a wine ceremony box for them. And yeah, I have, together with my boyfriend, we did everything from sanding the box to varnishing it to adding locks. I have also aged brass locks so that they look vintage and written their initials on them. I have prepared some keychains for the little keys, and yeah, maybe I should explain you what this is. It's a box, and there will be a bottle of wine inside and some love letters that the two write for each other, and then it will be locked with two little hinge locks, padlocks I think it is called in English, and they can only open it again together, and maybe on their first anniversary they can open it and enjoy the wine and some beautiful memories of their wedding. And yeah, this box, I am going to record a video of it so I can show it to you in the next episode, but I don't want to ruin the surprise for the wedding, so I'm not showing it now. Anyway, there has also been something else that I have been making for the wedding for myself. I have realized that I don't have a proper little handbag to like wear as an accessoire and also to keep my useful things. So I have sewn one for me. This is it. It is just a black little zippered pouch. It has this cute little zipper pull here that I also made out of some beads. And on the inside there is again this cute fabric that you maybe remember from my project bag that I just showed you previously. And there is this. This is a little wallet, so to say. It has also the same style with this lace on the top and a little zipper pull, and here I put this, I have no idea how you call this in English, so that you can kind of take it away. You can open here and take it away, and you can also put it back. And here I can also put my keys so that they are always safe and cannot fall out of this little bag. Alright, and this is what I'm going to wear together with a cute little dress. And also I'm going to wear my Love's Promise cardigan for the wedding, and I think I have never taken proper pictures of it, so this is going to happen. The Love's Promise cardigan is a pattern by Amanita, and I have knit this last year towards the end of autumn, and I have actually never worn it because it was winter and not the time for this beautiful cardigan, but now at the wedding it will be time for that. This episode is actually going to be the episode with the most different segments, because I have a segment for you which I almost never have, and this is stash acquisition. As I have mentioned before, I have been to Porto together with my friends. It was actually the bachelorette weekend of my friend who is getting married, and yeah, we had a beautiful time. In Porto, there is a beautiful little yarn shop called Ovelha Negra, which means black sheep in Portuguese, and we went and got some yarn. This is the yarn that... oh, I cannot hold it. This here is the yarn that I bought in Portugal. It is 100% Portuguese merino. It's called Amelia. I will show you the tag. Amelia, or Amelia actually in Portuguese. It has this beautiful tag, and yeah, it is tweedy and it is a little bit rustic, so it does not feel super soft, but according to what I read, it should be fluffing up after washing, and I'm very curious to see how this is going to change. And yeah, it's a single ply yarn. Oh, and the next segment is going to be Lila. Come, Lila. What do we have here? This love muffin. Lila, say hi. Say hi to the people. She was outside. She smells really good. She wants to go out again. So my next segment is going to be a review. This is the first time that I am reviewing a product on my podcast, and I am very excited. I was sent some beautiful needle cases by dellaQ, and I have put together a little video clip for you to enjoy. So this is coming up now, and I will see you on the other side. I am very happy to present you today these wonderful knitting needle cases that were sent to me by dellaQ. These cases are very beautifully and professionally made, and as you will see soon, also very practical. Let me start by showing you how I have been storing my knitting needles so far. I have this big basket sitting under my couch table where I do most of my knitting. In here I have quite a few more or less useful things ready to grab. Project bags with and without projects in them, 2 sets of interchangeable circular needles, one by Addi and one by Pony, further needles that are just hanging around loosely, and a bunch of other things like printed patterns, a cardboard cutout of my foot, and a knitting calculator. Yarn labels, pens, and a bunch of scrap yarn. I didn't even remember that was there. Now let's take a look at my needle collection and how it is stored. Additionally to the Addi and Pony interchangeable sets, I have this pretty needle roll that I made myself and that holds all my DPNs. I like this bag a lot, but it has a major design flaw. I forgot to put a flap to stop the needles from falling out. So I always have to hold it upright, otherwise this happens, which is very sad. Now let me show you the beautiful bags I received by dellaQ. This one here is the double interchangeable case, which is designed, as the name says, to hold 2 sets of interchangeable needles. The fabric is really nice and silky soft, and as you can see here, there is plenty of space both for needle tips and cables. And the best thing is that these slots are labeled both in US and millimeter sizes. Also, this case has a flap so that the needles can't fall out like they did in my self-made case that I have just shown you. Here we also have a little zippered pouch to keep stitch markers or little notions or other useful helpers. And this is how it folds up. So this was the double interchangeable case, and now I am going to show you the second one I received, the DPN and circular needle case. I really love the fabric design of this one. On the inside it is this beautiful blue. Here in the middle is the place for your circular needles, carefully labeled so that you will quickly find the right size. Some of the pockets are also unlabeled so that also those extra needles can find a home. And here on the sides is the space dedicated to the DPN collection. Also here we have some useful zippered pockets for notions and small things. And of course, also this case comes with this useful flap that makes sure no needles will fall out. I have decided that this is the case that fits my needle collection best, and now I am going to show you a time lapse of how I filled it with my needles. Have fun! So here is my case full of my needle collection, and I really love it. I really love it. And now you are going to find out what is going to be the next giveaway, because I have received 2 cases and of course I need only one. The second bag, which is the double interchangeable case, is going to one of you lucky viewers. So we are going to have a giveaway. I'm going to post a prompt on Instagram for you to enter and win this beautiful needle case by dellaQ. Good luck! So finally, last but not least, I have received a lot of positive response for the little chemistry segment that I did in my episode 2, and I thought I will do something like this again. Maybe I do a little series. And today I have prepared a little clip for you about fiber chemistry. So I'm going to insert this here. The cat is destroying the sofa. Let's talk about the chemistry of fibers. There is a large number of fibers available that we knitters are using every day, from very common ones to some really exotic fibers. We can roughly categorize most fibers into 2 different types: protein and cellulose fibers. Protein fibers usually are harvested from animal fur, while cellulose fibers typically are produced by plants. There are, however, also some plant-derived fibers that belong to the class of protein fibers, like soy silk. And then there are also the synthetic or man-made fibers. These can belong into either category, protein or cellulose fibers, or even other types like acrylics or polyester. Regarding their chemical structure, there is one thing that all these fibers have in common. They are polymers. This word is Greek and translates to many parts. That makes sense because polymers are large molecules consisting of many repeating parts. A very general sketch of such a structure looks like this. The building block that is repeated throughout the structure is called a monomer. This word stands for single part. Now let's take a deeper look into the chemical structure of protein fibers, our animal fibers like wool, silk or alpaca. The monomer in protein fibers looks like this and is called an amino acid. The protein consists of many amino acids that are connected to each other. You can see that I visualized part of the amino acids here by a star. This is because there are 20 naturally occurring amino acids and each of them carries a different chemical group at the position of the star. You can already imagine that there are many options to combine those 20 amino acids. Their composition and sequence is what determines the properties of the protein. Now let's have a look at the chemical structure of cellulose fibers. The monomer in cellulose fibers looks like this. This structure is something we all know very well. It's a sugar. A cellulose fiber consists of many connected sugar units. They can be linked in various ways, and also here there is a variety of different sugars that can be incorporated into the fiber. Let's summarize what I have just shown you. There are two main classes of fibers: protein fibers, which come mostly from animals and consist of amino acids, and cellulose fibers, which come mostly from plants and consist of sugars. Now that you see how different the chemical structures of these fiber types are, you can imagine why they have such different properties and why, for example, they can also not be dyed with the same dyes. I hope this little lecture was useful to you and maybe you think about it the next time you use any of these fibers. And with this, we already get to the end of this episode. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have any questions, there is a thread on Ravelry for you to ask me questions that you would like to have answered here or also in the thread. And yeah, you can send me also a private message on Ravelry or on Instagram, and let's get in touch. Thank you very much for all your support, and I hope to see you soon. Bye!